Hello Beast, this is TylertheAwesome, and welcome to Zelda Month, a month dedicated to Zelda, which was started by Peanut Butter Gamer to celebrate the release of Skyward Sword in 2008, I think it was, which Skyward Sword is a game that I have not played and will not be featured on this list, and this list is top 10 Zelda games, so I hope that you guys like it, and here's the list.
Number 10, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. This game is no joke and is probably one of the hardest games I have ever played. It is in the style of Final Fantasy and it is super difficult, and for that reason alone it is this low on this list. I am super sorry, and it is often frequently bashed for this reason alone. But it's actually a super solid game. The controls are sweet. The only thing is the difficulty is really, really incredibly high. But other than that, yeah. Number 9! The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. I really haven't gotten very far in this game. I just know that it's super, super fun, and I haven't really played it that much. I'm like halfway through the game at this point. But honestly, it's not as good of a game as I actually thought it would be. Even though it is pretty cool that it has some Mario enemies. Just like the Chain Chomp, the Goombas, the Boos, the Cheep Cheeps, and stuff like that, and that's pretty cool. Also, there's a guy with an insta-kill laser blaster that can kill you almost instantaneously if you ever steal any of his stuff. And that's pretty cool. Number 8! Let the hate roll in, Twilight Princess is at number 8. It's actually a really fun game, and I've beaten it 2 times, so I know to its full extent how good of a game it is, but it really just didn't do what other Zelda games did for me. Also, it tried really way too hard to be dark, just like Majora's Mask. But Majora's Mask is actually, and I'm gonna get hate for this, a better game than this. But the game just felt kind of weird, but it was forgivable, and it was actually a good game. Except for the tutorial, which was way too long. Number 7! The game that started it all, the original Legend of Zelda for the NES. It is a super fun game, and to anyone who has never played it, I highly recommend it, because it is probably one of the NES greatest hits. Another cool thing, I've beaten this game multiple times. This is actually my 3rd playthrough of the game. It had all of the things that would become a staple of the series, and it was just a super solid game with great controls and a lot of hidden secrets, some of which have still been hidden to this day. But it's just a really, really good game full of triangles, dodongos, and a lot of other stuff, including keys and even the freaking floor masters. And yeah. Number 6! My second favorite handheld Zelda game has got to be the Minish Cap. It is highly underrated in my opinion, and it is really good, because it has Eslo, if anyone remembers him. He was the original hat that Link wore. I don't know the real name for the hat, but anyway, it also let you shrink to the size of a Picori and kill really, really huge things, and it had a really, really good story and a lot of really good items that would become a staple later in the series. Number 5! If I'm gonna get hate for anything, it's gonna be this one. A Link to the Past is number 5 on this, deal with it. Anyway, though, it actually is a really good game and a lot of people's favorites. In fact, most of the people who I asked what their favorite Zelda game was for this list was this game. But when I actually played it, it really didn't do as much for me as I thought that it would. I mean, it's still a very good game, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, I just didn't quite like the music as well, I didn't like the fighting as well, but they did have a lot of really good gameplay elements that I will credit the game for. Like the fact that it has really good dungeons, puzzles, and items, mostly items, because some of the items in the game were used a lot later, and even till. In fact, this game had a remake about a year or 2 ago, which was called A Link Between Worlds, which I almost put on this list, but I've actually never played it. Number 4! Oh my god, Tyler, you ranked Ocarina of Time higher than A Link to the Past? Oh my god. Yes, I know, everything makes you wait, but still, I've beaten this game at least 4 times, and it's just really solid, and it pretty much defined how 3D adventure games work. And it's really, really good. And it has a lot of hidden secrets, just like the original Zelda. Now, true, in terms of adventure, it may not be as good as A Link to the Past, but it is still a good game nonetheless. Number 3! Do you remember how earlier in the list that I said that Minish Cap was my second favorite handheld Zelda? Well, this is the number 1 spot. I'm putting it to the Oracle games, specifically Oracle of Ages, because, I don't know, it's just better overall in my opinion. It has a lot of the original things that the original Zelda had, and for those who like A Link to the Past, it has a lot of those elements too. In fact, when it was first released, it was originally going to be a remake of those for the handheld. But it actually came out to be one of my favorite, pretty much, Zeldas of all time. And it did a really good job combining the two. Speaking of which, number 2!
Majora's Mask is one of the subtly darkest, scary games I've ever played, if that makes any sense at all. Seriously though, just look at this game. It is really, really dark, but it is still really, really fun, and it's probably one of my favorites ever. In fact, I really don't have that much to say about it. It's just that good. The only complaint that I really had with the game is how short the game was, and how annoying the Georg or George or however you pronounce it boss is. Also, the Elegy of Emptiness statue is probably the single creepiest part of this game. I mean, just look at it. It stares into your soul forever. This is the game that I have beaten the most. I have beaten this game at least 6 times. Number 1! Those of you guys who know my channel and me would know that this would be at the number 1 spot. The number 1 spot goes to The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. Specifically the HD remake, because it takes out a lot of the old quirks and annoyances that I had with the first. But anyway, you can freaking go through this really huge open world and do all of these super cool things. And it has probably the single best story in any Zelda ever. And it's got a lot of really cool things. The controls are super good. I could go on for days and days and days about how freaking amazing this game is. And the final battle is super satisfying. And as you guys would know, pulling out the Master Sword in this game is the single coolest moment in any video game ever. Whoop! It's the honorable mention. That's right, the newest game in the Zelda franchise takes the honorable mention as a spot that I couldn't quite figure out to put on this, but it is a really, really fun game to play with friends. Not so much in the single-player department, but it is still really fun nonetheless. I mean, just look at this. My friends are completely screwing us over, but it is super, super fun. The boss fights are memorable, and just watching your friends frantically spaz about while you try and defeat stuff is really funny to watch. And another cool thing is that you actually have to team up together in order to win this. And that's the only way that you can beat this game. It is really, really well thought out, and is probably one of the best handheld Zeldas ever. Hello peeps, this is TylertheAwesome, and happy Zelda month / Thanksgiving / Christmas / Halloween / whenever you're watching this. I really hope that you guys like this. It took a while to make, and I hope you guys enjoy. So I guess I'm tuning off for now. Bye peeps. Bye. Secret hidden blooper. Wow, you stuck to the end. Secret hidden blooper. In fact, the Elegy of Emptiness statues... Elegy, no, God, yep. This is so stupid. Redo.